Very good morning to all of the students of ICSC, CBSE and other boards. How are you all? I hope that you all would be healthy and happy by the unlimited grace of Almighty God. I hope also that you all would be busy in the online classes of different subjects in the period of COVID-19. In the last class, we have finished the first chapter of magnetism, that is, Introduction of Magnetism. I hope that you all would have understood this chapter very well. And today, you all would have come by revising it also. Without revision, you won't understand anything clearly. If you don't understand anything clearly, you won't learn anything completely. So, revise the previous lectures, revise the previous classes before doing the next class. In the previous two classes, I was teaching to the students of both Hindi medium and English medium together. During teaching, I realized that when I was dictating to the students of English medium, the students of Hindi medium were having to wait. And when I was dictating to the students of Hindi medium, the students of English medium were having to wait. We all know that waiting creates irritation. Waiting produces irritation. It decreases our interest and wastes our time also. Therefore, I have decided to take separate classes for the students of both Hindi medium and English medium, so that your interest even is continue and your time also doesn't waste. One thing more, if you are doing online classes without your copy and pen, then you are wasting your time. There will be no benefit to you by watching the online class just like a serial, because for understanding the next episode of a serial, there is no need of revision. But for understanding the next class, for understanding the next lecture, there is a need of revision. The revision of previous classes is necessary for understanding the next class. And you will be able to revise the previous lectures only when you have theories written in your copy. Therefore, whenever you do online class, just do it with your copy and pen. I'll go on explaining and dictating theories to you, and you'll go on understanding and writing them. This will also make you guys interested and will not even distract you guys. Today, I am going to start the second chapter of magnetism, that is magnetic force. If you are ready with your copy and pen, let us start the second chapter of magnetism, magnetic force. Chapter 2, Lecture 3. Magnetic force. What is magnetic force? For understanding this, we take two pairs of bar magnets. We put one pair such that similar poles face each other, and we put other pair such that dissimilar poles, unlike poles, face each other. What will happen in these two situations? By the property of poles, we know that two similar poles repel each other and dissimilar poles attract each other. In the first situation, we see that there are two similar poles facing each other. Therefore, they will repel each other. That is, repulsive force will act between them. And in the second situation, we see that there are two dissimilar poles, there are two unlike poles facing each other. Therefore, they will attract each other. That is, attractive force will act between them. This attractive or repulsive force is known as magnetic force. Now we can define the magnetic force easily. We can define it such as two similar poles repel each other and dissimilar poles attract each other. This attractive or repulsive force is called magnetic force. We can define the magnetic force in other words also. We can say that two like poles repel each other and unlike poles attract each other. This force of attraction or repulsion is called magnetic force. Let us write the definition of magnetic force. Two similar poles repel each other and dissimilar poles attract each other. This attractive or repulsive force is called magnetic force. We can write other definition also, or two like poles repel each other and unlike poles attract each other. This force of attraction or repulsion is called magnetic force. Thus, we have learnt the definition of magnetic force. We have learnt what is magnetic force. But there is a question before us. What is the question? Do you want to know? If yes, the question is, how will we find the magnitude of the magnetic force? How will we find the value of magnetic force? As for example, if we are given the pole strength of this pole, M1 is equal to 10 ampere meter, and that of this pole M2 is equal to 20 ampere meter, then what will be the force acting between them? What will be the value of force acting between them? That is, F is equal to how much? For finding the value of this force, we have a need of its formula. Do you know that? Who has given the formula of this force? Who has given the law for finding the magnitude of the magnetic force? You all know his nickname, but only a few of you might know his full name. His nickname is Coulomb, whose full name is Charles Augustine de Coulomb, who was a French military engineer and eminent physicist. You all know the word French as the person of India is called Indian, the person of America is called American, the person of Italy is called Italian. Just like that, the person of France is called French. Coulomb was the person of France. Coulomb was the inhabitant of France. He has given the law for finding the magnitude of a magnetic force, which is known as Coulomb's law. Before talking about Coulomb's law, let us write these facts. Take down. For finding the magnitude of a magnetic force, a French military engineer and eminent physicist Charles Augustine de Coulomb has given a law which is known as Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law. Take down. Coulomb's law for a magnetic force. Before learning Coulomb's law for magnetic force, we'll have to learn its basic concept. Take down basic concept. Permeability. For explaining permeability, I take an example of my real life. What is the example? Look here attentively. There is a wide pit in which water settles in the rainy season. Wide pit. On one side of this pit, my native village named Bochahi is situated, where I lived in my childhood and boyhood. Bochahi. On other side of this wide pit, there is a village market named Ismailpur. A village market named Ismailpur. As Ismailpur is a village market, it is natural that the people of nearby villages would go there to buy essential things of daily usage. Like common people, I also used to go to Ismailpur from my village Bochahi to buy essential things of daily usage. When I went to Ismailpur from my village Bochahi, I had to cross this wide pit on foot. It took me 15 minutes to cross the pit when there was nothing but air in this pit. It took me 15 minutes when there was nothing but air in this pit. In the rainy season, when there was water in this pit, it took me 30 minutes to cross the pit. After drying water, when there was mud in this pit, it took me 45 minutes to cross the pit. "45 minutes. Now, I ask a question to you. Why did it take me different times in different situations? Was the distance between Bochahi and Ismailpur changed? Was the person changed? You can say that neither distance nor the person was changed, but the medium of the pit in different situations was changed. I ask a question to you again. What is the effect of the media on the time to cross the pit? You can say that medium of the pit affects the time to cross the pit, because each medium has its own property. Different media have different properties. The property of air is that it doesn't obstruct the foot on walking. The property of water is that it obstructs the foot a little on walking. And the property of mud is that it obstructs the foot more than water in walking. You can say that due to having different properties of different media, it took you different times to cross the pit in different situations. The time taken to cross the pit depends on the property of a medium. If your answer is this, then your answer is absolutely correct. It is true that the time taken to cross the pit depends on the property of the medium. Remember it. I would like to repeat it. The time taken to cross the pit depends on the property of the medium. Let us go towards physics. We put two similar poles in the air separated by a distance r. Then what will happen here? You can say that repulsive force will act between them, say F1. After that, we put these two poles in the water separated by the same distance r. What will happen here? You will say that repulsive force will act again, say F2. In the last, we put these poles in mud separated by the same distance r. What will happen here? You can say that repulsive force will act again between these poles, say F3. Now I ask a question to you again. Why are the forces acting between two poles different in different situations? Why do the different forces act between two poles in different situations? What is the reason? You will say that due to having different properties of different media, the force acting between two poles are different. The force acting between two poles depends on the property of the medium. It is true that the force acting between two poles depends on the property of the medium. Such a type of property is called permeability. Now we can easily define the permeability. We can say that the property of a medium on which the force acting between two poles kept in it depends is called permeability. Let us write the definition of permeability. The property of a medium on which the force acting between two poles kept in it depends is called permeability. It is denoted by mu. Take down. After taking down, we will learn the SI unit of permeability. Take down SI unit of permeability. We all know that for finding the unit of a physical quantity, we have a need of its formula. First of all, we will learn the formula of permeability. There are two poles of pole strength M1 and M2 separated by a distance r. What will happen here? Repulsive force will act between them. What will be the value of F? Further, from Coulomb's law, we will learn that F is equal to mu by 4 pi M1 M2 by r square. From this formula, we can find that mu is equal to 4 pi f r square by M1 M2. This is the formula for permeability. Now we can easily write the SI unit of permeability. Mu is equal to 4 pi f re square by m1 m2. What is 4 pi? 4 pi is a constant which has no unit, which has no dimension. What is F? F is the force whose unit is Newton, and R is the distance between two poles whose SI unit is meter. What is M1 and M2? M1 and M2 are the pole strength of these poles. The SI unit of pole strength is ampere meter. We can write it Newton per ampere square. This is the SI unit of permeability. But in addition to this SI unit, there are few more SI units of permeability. As for example, Weber per ampere per meter, Tesla meter per ampere, Henry per meter. These are also the SI unit of mu, SI unit of permeability. You can say that how it is possible? How can a single physical quantity have different SI units? You should know that the unit of a physical quantity depends on its formula. As much as the formula of a physical quantity may be, so much as its SI unit may be. As for example, we take force. If we write the formula of force, F is equal to ma, then what will be its SI unit? You can write the SI unit of mass is kg, and the SI unit of acceleration meter per second square. Kg meter per second square is called Newton in the respect of Newton. Which is denoted by capital N. If we write W is equal to Fs cos theta, then F is equal to how much? W by S cos theta. What is W? W is the work done, whose SI unit is joule. What is S? S is the distance, whose SI unit is meter. Cos theta is a constant quantity which has no unit. This can be written as joule per meter. Joule per meter. Joule per meter is also the SI unit of force. If we write P is equal to W by T, This is equal to Fs cos theta by t. Then F is equal to how much? Pt by S cos theta. What is P? P is the power, whose unit is watt. Watt. T is the time, whose SI unit is second. S is the distance, whose SI unit is meter. This can be written as watt second per meter. This is the other SI unit of force. Thus we see that the SI unit of force depends on its formula. Just like that, these SI units of permeability depends on different formulas of permeability. Pay your attention here. These formula of force are not oftenly used, but these formula of permeability are oftenly used. Therefore, remember these SI units of permeability. Now, we learn the dimensional formula of permeability. Take down the dimensional formula of permeability. For finding the dimensional formula, we all know that there is a need of its formula. First of all, we write the formula of permeability. Mu is equal to 4 pi F into R square divided by M1 M2. Therefore, the dimensional formula of permeability is equal to 4 pi is a constant which has no dimension, but F is the force whose dimensional formula is mLT minus 2, and R is the distance whose dimensional formula is L. M1 and M2 are the pole strength whose dimensional formula are AL into AL. This is equal to ML3 T minus 2 divided by A2L2. This is equal to MLT minus 2A minus 2. This is the dimensional formula of permeability. This is asked in objective question, which is denoted by me OQ. Take down. Now we'll discuss on the kinds of permeability. Take down kinds of permeability. Permeability. Permeability of free space or vacuum. Absolute permeability relative permeability. The permeability of free space or vacuum is denoted by mu naught. Absolute permeability is denoted by mu, and relative permeability is denoted by mu r. First of all, we'll discuss on permeability of free space or vacuum. What is permeability of free space or vacuum? Remember the pit. When there is nothing in the pit, we put two poles separated by a distance r. Then what will happen? You can say that repulsive force will act between them. This force will depend on the property of the vacuum, on the property of the free space. The property of free space or vacuum on which the force acting between two poles kept in it depends is called permeability of free space or vacuum. Take down the definition of permeability of free space. The property of free space or vacuum on which the force acting between two poles kept in it depends is called the permeability of free space or vacuum. It is denoted by mu naught. Mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per ampere square. Newton per ampere square is the unit of permeability of free space or vacuum, because the SI unit of permeability is Newton per ampere square. Therefore, the unit of permeability of free space or vacuum will be also Newton per ampere square. Its dimensional formula is same as the dimensional formula of permeability. The permeability of air is assumed equal to the permeability of free space or vacuum. Therefore, the permeability of air is also denoted by mu naught. The permeability of air is denoted by mu naught and given by mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per ampere square. Next, absolute permeability. Permeability. The real permeability of a medium is called absolute permeability. It is clear that what is absolute permeability? It is the real permeability of a medium. The real permeability of a medium is called absolute permeability. It is denoted by also mu. Its SI unit is also Newton per ampere square. You can write the dimensional formula of absolute permeability is mLT minus 2A minus 2. Third and last, relative permeability, which is denoted by mu r. What is relative permeability? Relative permeability is the permeability of a medium with respect to air or vacuum. We can say it in other words also. The ratio of the permeability of a medium and the permeability of free space or vacuum is called the relative permeability of the medium. Take down. The permeability of a medium with respect to air or vacuum is called relative permeability. We can write it in other words also. Take down, or the ratio of the permeability of a medium to that of free space or vacuum or air is called relative permeability. It is denoted by mu r and given by mu r is equal to mu by mu naught. Why? From definition it is clear that the ratio of permeability of a medium. What is mu? Mu is the permeability of a medium. Next, to that of free space or vacuum. Thus it is the ratio of permeability of a medium and permeability of free space or vacuum. It is clear that mu r is equal to mu by mu naught. Therefore, mu is equal to mu naught into mu r. Memorable point. Next, relative permeability of air or vacuum. We know that relative permeability mu r is equal to mu by mu naught. Here mu is equal to mu naught. Why? We have to find the relative permeability of air or vacuum. Therefore, we will have to write mu naught instead of mu. Therefore mu r is equal to mu naught by mu naught. Thus the relative permeability of air or vacuum is 1. Memorable point. We will use it next. These are the basic concepts related to Coulomb's law. Okay, bye. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay busy in building your career.